Alright, so we're here again with the Bad Idea Boys, and we've actually been sitting for a couple hours now just having a ton of organic conversation. By the way, like and subscribe if you like what we're doing. If you don't, then fuck off. But we've been sitting here having this organic conversation, and we've been talking about books and movies and TV shows, and I think the only thing that we haven't touched down on is music, politics, religion, and race. But my mom is a big Stephen King fan. We've been talking a lot about Stephen King, and Richard over here had brought up a couple movies and things like that because you don't know how to read. I'm kidding.
It's true.
I'm kidding.
It's true.
Honestly,
words are hard.
We were trying to figure out a topic that we were going to talk about for, this video, and this is what we came to, is that we were just trying to culminate some kind of conversation. We had conversations about Indiana Jones and Jaws, which I can't believe that there's like 5, and they're getting ready to put out a 6th one. Correcting each other on misinformation, things like that. Honestly, I was thinking about having a video about, scares from movies and video games that really resonated with you, and one of the ones that resonated the most with me, and she might be able to attest to this, I don't know if she actually remembers it or not, but my first playthrough of Majora's Mask, Legend of Zelda, when you go into the Dead Valley, you eventually get into the house that's playing all the music. When you get downstairs, Gibbo, I think they're called. It's the little girl's dad comes flying out of this fucking sarcophagus, and I panicked. I didn't know what to do. I freaked the fuck out. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like 16, and I threw my controller and shouted. I know I woke my dad up. I don't remember if she woke up or not. But it led to an entire conversation about, we were on like Stephen King and all kinds of, and who was it, John Saul?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. John Saul and things like that. Now,
M. Night Shit in My Hands.
Yes, M. Night Shit in My Hands. What a twist! But honestly, books never really got me. Like, I find books incredibly entertaining, but I never actually had one scare me or anything like that. Movies never resonated with me or not. My personal belief system is very anti-supernatural, and I actually know somebody who watched The Nun not that long ago.
Okay.
When it was in theaters, and they found themselves like using light sources to enter rooms to turn on light switches
After watching it.
And like they don't pray, but they found themselves praying before they went to bed. Like, it resonated with them so bad. Now, I can't imagine that. Honestly, the only movie that really has actually scared me in the last probably 20 years was
Debbie Does Dallas.
Oh, that was terrifying. Apparently, razor blades weren't invented until early 2000s. Oh man, that was bad.
That was horrible, dude.
But Eight-Legged Freaks. I am.
It was actually a good one.
I'm a bit of an arachnophobic.
I found it humorous. I liked it.
Mom and I both aren't really big on Eight-Legged Freaks. Nowadays,
that freaked me out. So
I'm a lot
bad,
better than
and
I
I'm
used to
afraid
be.
Of spiders. I fear spiders.
Well, you feared spiders a long time before that movie became even a thought within somebody's head.
Okay.
I'll never forget. Okay, so I come home from high school one day. Open the door, come in. And I hear this screaming coming from our bathroom. I'm like 15. My freshman year. I'm still, pretty young. And I hear this, well, I never have been. But I hear this blood-curdling screaming coming from the bathroom. So I come walking down the hall, and my mom apparently is in the bathroom. She hears my footsteps, and she's like, "You need to come help me now!" And so I walk in, and there's my mom up the wall, like 1.5 feet, 2 feet off the ground, and there's this spider. Itty bitty little dude.
It wasn't that small, don't lie.
It was pretty small. According to her, it was huge, and as she tried to get around it, it shuffled its little feet and looked at her.
It was following
Which
me.
freaked her the fuck out even more. Well, they're predatory animals, so motion draws their attention.
What the hell?
But yeah, I walked in, and I'm not a big fan of spiders either, but I just ended up stomping on
I
it.
think that's for me.
Alright, so here it is. I walk in, and I just step on it. Story's over. However, I do have to admit I did fuck with her a little bit. The spider from Harry Potter, I used to have one of those toys, and it had a button on its ass. And when you would press it, it would like close its 8 little legs together. I would walk up to her randomly and snap that thing on her wrist.
I remember those.
Yeah, or the time that I hung the fake spider from the cat toy from the ceiling, shut off all the lights, and then called you.
Not funny.
Which we did talk about earlier. Now, when I was a teenager, I thought it was funny, but I seriously don't agree with fucking with people's phobias. Like, that's pretty messed up. I shouldn't have done it. I thought it was funny, but I've had it done to me since, and I realized, it's fucking horrible. Like that Family Guy, where the guy who's in prison for stabbing people gets stabbed, and he's like, "Oh, good God, is this what I've been doing to people all this time? I deserve to be in here." yeah, pretty much that.
Okay, there you go.
Now, one topic that I did want to bring up, because we had played around with the idea of top 3 favorite video games. Now, 2 of them struggled pretty hard with it. I had something in common with each of them as far as their opinions of their favorite video games. I'd have to put, number 1 favorite video game of all time, hands down, would probably have to be Ocarina of Time. Number 2, coming in a close second, would be the Mass Effect trilogy. Mass Effect Andromeda, for any of you who know who the Mass Effect trilogy is, Mass Effect Andromeda, it's good. It's not as bad as the reviews, but it's still a pretty decent game. And then number 3, which I actually wasn't going to go with, but number 3 would have to be Fire Emblem. Mom brought it up. It's in her top 3.
Oh, it's my top one.
It's a pretty solid game. Path of Radiance is one of the few that she's actually played, which was a very good game. And then I bought each of us a copy of Awakening, and then I bought Conquest, and I purchased her Birthright, the newer ones for 3DS, which aren't really as good. And then there's the Game Boy Advance version that is just Fire Emblem. I don't know how like the 3rd or 4th one or the 5th one in the series got just the name Fire Emblem. Why the first one didn't? But the first one was actually they re-released it on 3DS. Shadow Dragons is the one with Marth in it, which I also do own. And God, that game's fucking hard. God, it's fucking hard. But would you like to touch down on your 3 favorite?
My 3 favorite, Fire Emblem is my top one. Path of Radiance is my favorite that I've played thus far.
Neither of us have played Radiant Dawn, to be clear, but I did have a friend who played it, and I listened to what he had to say, and it doesn't sound nearly as good.
My second is obviously Mario, the original. I love the original Mario. And my third is a game that a lot of you may not know. It was called Galaga.
There's actually an upright arcade of Galaga right over there that Mom took a spin at just probably about 15 minutes before I decided that we were going to record this, and it's been a long time since she's played this game.
But it was originally an arcade game, and I believe it was on Atari.
Yeah.
Which many people won't know
that came
what
out for
Atari
Atari.
was.
They had Galaga for Atari. They've had it for Nintendo.
Well, it came out for multiple systems, but original was arcade. Next one was Atari.
Yeah.
It did come out for Atari after Upright Arcade. I'm looking at it right now. It was made by Midway.
Midway.
Mom actually had a deep love for a game called 1942,
Oh, I love
which
that
was another
too.
Midway game. I'm pretty sure. I'm about 90% sure that 1942 was Bally Midway. It was originally an upright
The
arcade.
one I only remember her actually ever playing, and she drugged me to
History.
where was the fuck? Why can't I remember the name of this stupid place? It's Spokane. It's
We went
to
super
the
fucking out of
it's at the
focus.
park,
Riverfront Park.
Riverfront
the
Park,
Arcade.
the arcade. You know it's not there no more.
Yeah, I
It's
know. It
gone.
kind of sucks.
Anyways, because I went looking for it the last time I was up there. But anyways,
Nostalgia.
you would drag me there, and you would play. I swear it was either Centipede or Missile Command. Which one was
Oh,
it?
Centipede is good. Centipede's a good game too.
Yep.
I loved Centipede.
Back when cell phones didn't have touch screens yet.
Yeah.
You know, before little kids had cell phones and everybody was
Centipede
doing
was
YouTube
good.
stuff and things like that. Mom found out that the flip phone that my dad had for business and emergency purposes had Centipede on it. Oh, God. I don't know how many times. I don't know how many times. So, I left out The Last of Us on my list, but it is pretty high for me, and that was on your list, wasn't it? I don't think it was first. But...
No, my top 3 favorite games was Debbie Does Dallas, Barbie Mystery Fun Time, and Barney Chronicles.
One of those is a game.
They're all games.
Okay.
Did they make a game out of Debbie Does Dallas? Yeah, that's what I thought. But no, real note.
Real note.
Mario was one of your favorites. I know it was.
It's just a fun.
Well,
easy-going game.
you were also a real big racer, like Need for Speed. Need for Speed Underground 1, I think, is one of the ones that you had mentioned.
It was one of the best.
Because it was
ones that they
the
probably
first
came
of its
out with.
kind.
Yeah.
Which I have to tip my hat to the Need for Speed. And then you mentioned The Last of Us, which I had mentioned in the previous, or in one of the previous videos, that my roommate actually walked in, saw me playing The Last of Us, and asked me what movie I was watching. The graphics are great. I'm looking forward to. This is currently being recorded around the time that The Last of Us 2, I don't think it's quite dropped, but it's
It
getting
hasn't yet. What's sad is it's been in development, I think,
Hey, do you just-
longer.
Do you just not want to be labeled with like 3 games? Is that what this is?
It's I don't
Is
like
this-
labels. I'm kind of I don't conform.
You're more than happy to throw around the label of liberal or snowflake, but but you don't want to be labeled with.
Alrighty then.
fucking SJWs.
All right. I started that one. That's my bad.
Yeah, like last time.
Yeah, like your mom, who is my grandma.
Yeah.
I just
wow.
got really confused.
Oh,
I'm
Go
I'm
ahead and tell
more than
him like
comfortable.
his mom, who is your sister.
I know, that's why I'm not saying your mom.
Oh, like-
does stuff,
like,
'cause that's even more awkward.
Like the video
Who is
posted.
sitting here? You know.
Like the video posted on
Wow.
recording day, my buddy Steven made some comment about my mom, and I was like, well, next time you and I record, we'll make sure to have my mom in there, and we'll get to show the world her beating your ass. She beats my ass all the time, and he's like, well, she's your mom,
James.
you're her kid.
James, we've already talked about this.
Does
I know,
he
right?
think
This
I'm
is a safe
afraid
place. You're okay.
to go after
You
him?
can
Just saying.
you can talk and say whatever you like.
To a
Anyways.
limit while his mom is here. Because there are.
Oh, like
moms.
my borders change because
James,
you're around.
James, you can hide in the bathroom.
She'll
There's
find me in there. You don't even have a door.
no
Yes.
door. Do you not think I can?
Might I
find
hide
you?
behind
No
the
door.
shower curtain, which I'm glad you are. But
Hide behind the shower curtain and you become part of the movie Psycho. You know.
right.
Just saying.
Oh
That's
my
what
God,
she was
movie
hiding
Psycho.
I got a hat. Anyways.
Oh, and what
Oh.
Pokemon game was that? Dun, dun, dun. Was that the that was the song from the original Mountain Moon from Pokemon Red and Blue, wasn't it? Dun, 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 dun. Very similar.
Very similar.
Like they talk about in The Holiday, where like those 3 notes from Jaws.
Yeah.
Like
Dun 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 dun
Da,
dun
da,
dun 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 dun
da, da.
dun.
Now you're into 007.
I know. How the hell did you go from Jaws to 007?
Very simply, there is a character from 007 named Jaws.
You find it funny though.
6 degrees of separation.
Mission Impossible is just a remake.
Oh, and that was
the
Mission
Jaws.
Impossible, not 007. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Yeah, it wasn't even 007.
Yeah.
Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da,
But seriously though,
da-da.
it's pretty much the same thing as the Jaws.
Yeah, the difference between Mission Impossible and 007 was
Mission
America.
Impossible sucked and
America!
007 freaking was awesome.
Mission Impossible was American secret agents,
Yeah.
whereas 007 was British secret agents, MI6.
No one could beat Sean Connery though as 007. He was the
You know,
all-time
he wasn't
best.
the first.
I understand.
Roger Moore wasn't even the first.
He was. I honestly just thought he was the best. I mean, I gotta give props to the original, and
Roger
even
Moore?
yes,
or
and then,
or the one that came because
Roger Moore
007
was not the first.
no he wasn't 007 was a TV series
I know it was,
in
yeah.
Britain, and then they put out a couple of movies, and then the United States, because Hollywood and jazz hands
Jazz hands.
picked it up, and it became a phenomenon here. Now, personally, my dad was super big on 007, and I do love 007. Moonraker was his favorite.
Well, you know the creator
not
of
my favorite.
007 was an actual World War II spy.
Did you know that Alfred from Batman was an MI6 agent?
Mhm.
Yeah. That's actually how he met the Waynes and ended up becoming
Just saying.
whatever.
Goldfinger or Octopussy were my 2 favorite.
Octopus.
Goldfinger the Octopussy.
Those were names.
Honestly,
of 007
Freaking the
movies.
best.
Honestly, my favorite had to be Goldfinger. Or Golden Eye.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
God damn, dude.
What about Oddjob?
Pierce Brosnan was probably my favorite 007. I mean, I liked Roger Moore, don't get me wrong. And Sean Connery, as an old man, he's fucking sexy. But as a young man,
Awkward looking.
Ugh.
And they made it.
those
so
eyebrows,
he
duget
wasn't
they were
that.
aggressive.
They
They
made it
didn't get
sound
toned
like he was
down
so
until they
great.
turned white. Oh god, I was about to make a really inappropriate joke.
What was it?
Anyways,
The Rock.
what about The Rock?
Not like the. Can you
Oh,
smell?
the movie The
Yeah.
Rock with
Sean Connery
Nicolas
and
Cage
Nicolas Cage.
and Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I like
Not
that
a
movie.
bad
It was a
movie,
good movie.
actually.
That's
Pretty
one of my
decent
favorite movies.
But Sean Connery was one of the better.
I like
He was
that movie.
one of the better 007s. But I really liked GoldenEye with Pierce Brosnan. Now Daniel Craig, I don't know. He played 007 in a TV series in the UK for a long time before he was actually our 007. But Sean Connery, Roger Moore, and Pierce Brosnan all brought this British gentleman aspect. But Daniel Craig brought more of a Liam Neeson from Taken.
Yeah,
Who is the guy that plays 007 now?
That's
We're currently in Daniel Craig.
yeah, and I don't care for his
I
shit.
don't care for him.
Yeah, he's the one who did Quantum Solace.
I don't care for him.
And there's more than that. Quantum of Solace stuck with me. But
Casino
M,
Royale.
Casino Royale.
Yeah.
M is still in those, which is
Yeah.
weird because you would think that she would have. What was her name too?
I don't remember.
I think I'm connecting her with somebody who wasn't her. I think I'm thinking of M and confusing her with the grandmother from Princess Diaries, who was Mary Poppins.
Are you talking about the?
And I think I'm connecting the wrong people. Did you know they're putting out a new Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be
Dick
able
Van
to watch
Dyke.
it.
Dick Van Dyke's going to be in it.
I still don't know. If
Oh,
I'll
come
be able to watch
on!
it.
Dick Van Dyke.
The original.
He's
was
actually a really
just-
nice guy.
Yeah,
Surprising how old he
I
is.
have an autographed picture thanks to this young man.
He was actually
gift ever.
in the audience for my all-time favorite game, Debbie Does Dallas.
I still don't think that's a game. I still don't think that's a game.
I don't think that's game. I think you just like saying that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you're just enjoying saying Debbie Does Dallas.
Saying I think.
And why would
like
anybody do Dallas? Dallas is like.
No, it's the TV show from the 80s, you dipshit. God. She did, JR. You know, JR.
I don't know who JR is.
Come on, wherever you are. JR.
I don't think he ever watched
I actually
Dallas.
have no idea
You know, the old white 10-gallon hat.
what you're talking about.
I don't think he's ever watched
I
Dallas.
actually thought Debbie Does Dallas was like a dirty movie.
It was a cinematic masterpiece. What are you
It
talking
was a dirty
about?
movie.
So okay, yeah, no.
It's
No,
a
'cause
classic.
I remember when Debbie Does Dallas came out, and
It's
my
classic.
dad brought it up, and I was like, okay, and he's like, yeah, no, you're not watching that. And I was like,
Your young mind just wouldn't comprehend what was going on at the time. That's the problem.
you remember
I'm not
Octopussy?
sure your mind comprehends
Comprehends.
what's going on.
You remember Octopussy?
My
Well,
hand comprehends
Debbie-
where it's going.
Debbie Does Dallas's co-star was probably called Anita Dix.
Ooh, Anita Dix. Calm down, Anita Dick.
Oh, and what was her husband's name?
Oh, fuck, now I'm brain dead.
Letterkenny references Amish community, which I think they kept calling them Mennonites,
Yeah, Mennonites.
but they were totally Amish, dude. Totally
It's the Canadian version of,
What's the difference?
American
Amish. Amount of interaction with technology, mostly.
Alrighty then.
Mennonites are allowed to have a few modern amenities. Things like stoves
Okay. Really sharp.
and fast food.
Oh,
So,
well, you know, those
And
are some good choices.
Amish are straight up candlelights and horse-drawn
missionary
carriages. And yeah, well, there isn't any other position other than missionary. I mean, I'm from Idaho, and there's actually laws that state that. But there are.
It figures.
I'll explain them to you later.
It figures.
There's
Oh,
some-
Idaho's
I
fucking
believe
ass
you.
backwards. There's actually a law on the books in the state of Idaho.
Are we talking about that, what's it, 1,000 yards?
200 yards.
200 yards, that's right.
You can have consensual sex with somebody
With a minor.
as young as 14 years old, as long as you're 200 yards away from the public roadway.
Any public roadway.
Any public roadway.
Nice.
Yeah. No. So now we're getting into things that I don't really want to touch down on. I don't want to have to explain how I know that. Not for the reasons that you're thinking. Jesus.
He's lying.
It was consensual.
and how can you be sure
Oh,
what I'm
God.
thinking?
Not according to the parents.
I can't believe what just came out of my fucking mouth. But anyways.
I can.
Anyway.
Anyway.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair. She doesn't get this. She hasn't watched Letterkenny, which has got to be the greatest TV show I've ever seen. Hat tip to Jared Kiso. I call him like Leto or Leto or something like that. And that was the fucking queer that played the Joker on Suicide Squad, which...
Meh.
What? What?
Meh.
What?
Meh.
Harley Quinn had Stockholm Syndrome. Or no, Nightingale Syndrome. Nightingale Syndrome.
Meh.
Where she fell in love with her patient, who was a fucking lunatic and a sociopath.
I've never watched Suicide Squad.
The animation is...
I thought the whole premise
significantly
of the
better.
whole thing was stupid.
Well,
I'll
you,
agree.
you know what the premise of the Suicide Squad was? In the comic books.
Yeah.
Amanda Waller, the Black Queen,
Mm-hmm.
which is funny because they always made her black, which seems a little... But she basically put a group of supervillains that they had captured together, and depending on the version, it was explosive necklaces or electrocuting necklaces or
Implants.
implants in their brain, which was
that
the
exploded. What's
movie.
premises? Yeah, for the movie.
And basically, they were sent out on spec ops missions.
Yeah, I know.
And they were expected to perform the job, and if they failed to, which was actually kind of interesting. And originally, it led to a fallout between Harley Quinn and the Joker, because she had realized that she had basically been a tool for him.
Which was exactly what she was.
Well, yeah. This whole, like,
She cared.
Jared Leto, like, where he actually gave a shit about her? No, he didn't.
No.
He never did.
Joker never cared.
She cared about him,
Joker
and he took
never
advantage of
cared
that.
about anything. Or anyone.
Yeah, he didn't even care about whether he lived or not. The only thing that the Joker cared about,
Joker was batshit
the
crazy.
only thing that the Joker cared about was getting the bat
Yeah.
to kill somebody.
Mhm.
What's
Because
his
that
reason
would
for
mean-
living?
If he could get the bat to kill somebody, then he would prove that the bat was human. And he would remove his influence and power. But ultimately, the premise behind Suicide Squad, I thought, was actually pretty good. You got to see a few villains / mercenaries, because Deadshot was never a villain.
No.
He was to DC what the Punisher is to Marvel.
Yeah.
They portrayed him in a darker
He was a
sense,
hitman.
but he was basically a gun for hire. That's about what he was.
All he
Like,
was.
he wasn't in it for good or evil or anything like that. He was just trying to make money, and he was trying to do it in a way that he was good at. And he was trying to make money so that he could, do things like support his child, things like that, and stay out of prison, because prison's bad.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, just found this out the other day. In prison, even if it's consensual, sex in prison, you will get like a sex charge and an extension of your sentence, even if it's consensual.
Huh? Maybe
Yeah,
Because you're not supposed to be
enjoying yourself. That's what
enjoying
everybody
yourself.
keeps saying. So I get
Let's
it.
face
With,
it.
I get it with rape.
Prison is all about enjoying yourself.
I get it with rape, but like, if it's consensual, I mean, you give a shit.
What if it's consensual rape? I mean, like, you want to be, like,
Those
rape
two
style.
words do not fit together. Consensual rape is
Seriously.
oxymoron.
So what you're trying to say is, if I want to be, like, raped by a woman, but I give her consent to, like, violate me in, like, a way that
You won't
would
give me
be...
consent to violate him. Now we're getting into social politics.
What's
But,
social about it?
It involves more than one person.
No, it's not social because it involves the word rape.
Rape is a social activity. That made. Oh my god. Oh, the
Just
horror.
because
Yes,
it's
get a
social
group of your
doesn't mean-
friends together, just go out and just have some rape time with your buddies. It's a social group activity. It's like, get the family
Well,
involved.
rape typically is a group activity.
Consensually or unconsensually?
Well, the word rape implies that it isn't consensual.
That it's forced.
Yeah.
Upon someone.
Unwanted.
I want.
Well, you can't want to be raped
Why not?
because
It's-
rape is unconsensual.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong about the definitions. This is fucking horrible. This got really out of fucking control.
It got dark real
And
Yeah,
quick.
I'm actually probably not going to edit this out because
It's
I found it actually pretty funny. We did
You
manage
find
to.
rape funny?
Well.
Oh, I knew it. I fucking knew it.
Oh god, I'm gonna get so much backlash for this.
You and your
Anyways,
buddies got
anyway,
together, brought the family. Bring the kids along next time. Fuck,
Hey.
it's a family event.
hey, there is a member of our family who goes to family reunions to pick up chicks. So
Yeah.
don't give me shit about that. At least I ain't never. Yet.
You say that almost like there's a possibility. Do
Oh, I
really
don't
wanna be
fucking
part of
know.
this
At
conversation?
this point, this conversation is derailed so far that now I'm just fucking letting diarrhea spew out my goddamn mouth. Oh,
So-
God.
So, kids, if you ever get a chance,
Don't talk to kids. Don't talk to kids. You fucking weirdo.
Be quiet. It doesn't involve the word rape and kids. Okay, that's just sick.
We're in Washington right now.
And your point is,
They have to be 16?
16?
16?
17.
Is it 17 now?
I think it's.
It was 16 when I was a kid.
Maybe it's.
Consenting
16,
age.
maybe it's
Whatever.
17.
Okay.
It's 16 or 17. So
Anyways.
nothing under that. When we're in Idaho, you can talk to the 14-year-olds. You fucking perv.
So if you ever want to play a great game, guys, seriously, give Debbie Does Dallas a shot. I mean, you will thoroughly enjoy it. It's fucking amazing.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. This was horrible.
It's fucking awkward.
I wish you weren't so fucking awkward, but this is eventually gonna get posted.
They all do.
Yeah.
Good, the bad, and the ugly.
This is one of the more weird ones, but I still enjoyed it. So, this was the Bad Idea Boys, and like and subscribe or fuck off.